Star Wars Skeleton Crew is over, it's done, it's out, and there aren't that many who are shouting about it. That's because very few people watched it. But did the finale save the day? Might it finally land it someplace, somewhere, some way on the Nielsen streaming charts? Today we'll tell you what we think in rear view of Skeleton Crew and why so few decided to tune in. Hello folks, it's another dandy of a day right here on the Pro Channel, and we are happy that you've come our way. All we ask is that you click the like button, and we're going to give you the latest when it comes to Skeleton Crew, the poor ratings and reception, but the fact that it may not be the worst of all the Star Wars. In fact, it might be the best thing Kathleen Kennedy has ever put out since Rogue One. Well, don't get ready to shout though, folks, because Disney and Disney Plus cannot be happy about this low audience number. We'll tell you about it, we'll tell you what's wrong, and we'll tell you what's going on as we get ready to go into a new era of Star Wars in which nobody wants to visit a galaxy far, far away. Folks, I got full disclosure, it's been a travel day for me. I have not seen Skeleton Crew, the finale. And I would have liked to have seen it. I enjoyed a lot of the show. I know not many people are watching it. I know not everybody likes it. But Lauren, you've seen it. Nolan, have you seen the finale?
Yes.
Okay, we've got some people who've seen it. Kevin, any luck on your side? Okay, we've got three. By golly, we got a show, folks. We can do this.
I've seen it too.
Jonas,
I haven't.
Nobody. You always have to be part of the crowd, Jonas. You just have to. You know what, Jonas? For that you get to be the one who recaps it for that. Go ahead.
No. I watched it on 2x speed. So I could check the box.
Let me get this straight. You wanted to jump in and say that you watched it, despite the fact that you actually didn't really watch it. You just technically watched it, but that let you be in the cool kid club. Is that what happened?
Is it cool to watch Skeleton Crew? Is that the conclusion that we're starting with right there?
All right. Well, in that case, Kevin, you earned the honors last time. We go back to you again. Sir, please recap what exactly happened in the finale of Skeleton Crew.
What speed did you watch the show at?
At normal speed.
I'm sorry.
One of us feel every moment of it. All right, so picking up where we left off, is he or is he not a Jedi? Was counting money, and then the parents showed up. The parents were like, "Oh yay, the emissary is here." He swung his lightsaber. The kids decided to listen. The parents asked no questions. He told the kids to go back to their rooms, essentially, and the droids are going to follow you. He took a girl boss in training in to go meet the wizard, and then we cut to Wim and his just painfully beta male father, being as worthless as a human being can. Not asking any substantive questions. We jump back to is he or is he not a Jedi, who then proceeds to stab the wizard because the wizard goes, "Oh, the last time I heard, Jedi were traitors." A bunch of stuff happens. There's some talking. We jump back to Wim because the power goes out everywhere. And then he tells his dad that, "Hey, I don't know why you haven't figured this out, but that guy was not an emissary. He's a pirate." And then the pirates show up. And then we cut to all the kids watching the pirates show up. And then the pirates decide to start shooting everything. And then everybody's just kind of watching the pirates shoot everything. And then they start running away. And then the kids get speeder bikes. And then just as I was about to go, why aren't they cutting through the woods to avoid the fire? They cut through the woods and avoid the gunfire. Then we cut back to is he or isn't he a Jedi, with baby girl boss and her mother now scheming on how to rescue everybody. And there is a big two-levered MacGuffin sitting over in the corner that will magically shut down the barrier. And even though the barrier is artificial and we could probably just turn it back on, is going to be a whole big thing if we turn it off. We have a brief talk about how we went to all these terrible places, but they're always nice people and you have to trust people. I'm sure there's, if you really want to dive deep, a lesson in placing security over freedom as an integral lesson there. But now we need to cut back to dreadful beta male Wim's father, as he is middling and just flopping around and being absolutely worthless as the kids fight the bad guys. we realize that we need to get into space to send the good guys a message. The kids split up. Let's split up, gang. Lady LaForge gets to go take the pretty spaceship into the sky. The elephant loses his speeder bike and gets separated. And then Wim and his worthless father decide that they have to go to where everybody is for the plot to get everybody back together again, to push a sequence of buttons so that we can talk to the Republic before Lady LaForge can get blown out of the sky. Now we're all
long is this episode?
Nothing happens, but everything happens. It's like it's moving 4,000 miles an hour, but you're like, we're not actually really going anywhere, but lots of things are happening. Then Wim shows up. Hey, I'm gonna tell a really quick but cute story, and then we get the big reveal that is he or will he not be a Jedi? Was a Padawan who, although they leave it nice and ambiguous, you don't know if he was a pre-Order 66 Padawan or if he was a post-Order 66 Padawan who watched his master die, and he's been floating around the galaxy with a giant chip on his shoulder, trying not to starve. And boy, he really likes money, but he doesn't want anybody to get hurt. But everybody's getting hurt, and he's having a slight little crisis.
Nobody guessed that one last week, Kevin? Oh, look at Mr. Look at Mr. Happy over there. Big smile. He got it right this time. Yep. All right, Kevin, finish this out. How's this episode going?
Right, so let's see. We get the message. X-Wing show up. They blow all the ships up over giant swaths of the city for some strange reason where all the civilians are, but we're not going to talk about that. Very Man of Steel-esque. We don't know what happened to Captain Long John Jack Sparrow. He got away. And then it all just kind of ends in a weird sitcom moment where everybody kind of laughs. It's like, hey, we didn't die. The end.
What about the robot with his head cut off? Does he come back?
Oh, he's okay. The Lady LaForge fixed him, and he had a couple of cute lines.
Oh, he ended up holding his head while still existing.
Oh, he's the Hatbox robot. Hey, Jonas, you watched it at 2x speed. Could you give us a 10x recap of what we just listened to?
Yes. Humperdinck is Mary Buttercup in a little less than half an hour.
All right. Princess Bride, folks. All right, Lorne, you're feeling pretty good about yourself over there because you guessed right on Mr. Sorta Kinda Jedi. But Lorne, based on what Kevin is telling me, this did not end well. Do you have the same thought as what I'm thinking, having heard this, or was it watchable?
Sadly, I'm going to have to disagree with Mr. Apollo.
Oh, folks, we've got a rift, a chasm, even a cataclysm, if you will. Go ahead, Lauren.
I like the show, but I have a different take on it than some people, and I think some of it might be because of some of the comments that I've seen in the chat. I think something may have flown under the radar for people, and that is that it turns out that I was kind of right. You remember last week when I was saying that apparently I was completely wrong about this planet being used to finance Starkiller Base. I was not completely wrong. Did you guys catch who the supervisor's voice was?
Who?
It's Palpatine. That artificial intelligence that was running the city, the supervisor, the droid intelligence, was Palpatine. They were developing credits in secret to finance Starkiller Base. Now, here's the thing, though. They don't explicitly state this in the show, and they left it ambiguous enough that technically this program could have been going on before the end of the original trilogy. And so it could have been a situation where they were minting these credits to finance the Empire, and when the Empire fell, they didn't know about it because they were behind the barrier and not getting communications, and they just kept doing what they were doing. So in that sense, you can take whichever continuity that you want, but the supervisor was Palpatine. In fact, if you go back and listen to some of those lines that the supervisor speaks, they're taken from the movies. Listen to the voice. That was... And in a way, this kind of ties into a little bit of the old EU, where there was another Imperial superweapon that was developed called the Eye of Palpatine that had an artificial intelligence guiding it. So there's precedent for that in the old EU.
All right. Wait a minute. Time to pick a brain here. All right, Lorne. you said two continuities. When you say two continuities, are you suggesting that they're trying to play both sides of this so that if you despise the sequel trilogy, that you don't have to despise Skeleton Crew? Or what do you mean by two continuities?
Whether that is a deliberate choice or not, I can't tell you. But if that was the intent, I think it probably failed because, like I said, in the chat I'm seeing, and it sounds like you on the panel didn't realize that was Palpatine that was the voice of the supervisor.
And
I thought it was lazy writing because when I heard the line, "We'll be watching you with grave interest," the first thing I thought of was Phantom Menace. And I'm like, wow, of all the lines they could have come up with, they came up with that. So, wow, that is the eye of a hawk right there, sir.
That's exactly why. Listen to all of the lines, and especially when he's probing Jod on, the last message that came out from the Republic was that the Jedi were all traitors. So what are you lying about? Being an emissary or being a Jedi?
That's awesome.
Okay, now wait a minute though, Lauren. In retrospect, then, with taking that into consideration, you've seen the finale. You like to show up until the finale. I like to show up until the finale. I haven't seen the finale, but I've heard what Kevin has said, and I don't like that too much. Sounds really boring and sounds like it's not satisfying, but I don't know. You said you disagree with Kevin. I'm waiting for the disagreement. What do you not agree with Kevin about?
I enjoyed it. I had fun. There was only one episode of this show that I didn't like. It was episode 4. Is it going to save Star Wars? No. Can you skip it? Absolutely.
All right,
But
what did you like about the finale then?
I liked the fact that I think this probably irritated Kevin is that they did separate all the kids and the adults. They got everybody so that they were apart. But if this is a show that is supposed to be based on something like the Goonies, then the kids have got to figure out, how are we all going to save the day? And they each have a part to play. Each one of their parts makes sense based on what the setup was in all of the previous episodes. They get to have their heroic moments. They have their bonding moments with the parents. All of that to me says that they had proper setups and payoffs. Now, you could argue it's cheesy. Sure, it is. But movies like this or shows like this are supposed to be. In this case, it is targeting kids. It is a kids' show. I liked the fact that they respected their audience enough to genuinely give them a couple of kind of scares, like that last episode when Jod is actually yelling at the kids. That's something we used to allow in these things, where you're suddenly confronted with, is this guy a good guy or is he a bad guy? They didn't cheat on his character. He is a pirate. He acted like a pirate. He got away at the end. For me, there's nothing here not to like. I enjoyed it.
Did he get the space rum? Did he get the space rum, Kevin?
So let me say, I enjoyed the last episode. I think they did themselves a disservice by breaking it up the way they did between the final 3 episodes. I cannot stand Wim's father. He offends me to my core as a man and as a father. His character, every time he opened his mouth, I would have rather jammed a hot butter knife into my throat than watch his weakness fill the screen. It was brutal.
Hold on a second, Kevin. You gave us a recap of this show that did not sound pleasant. And then you let Lauren bully you over there. And Lauren can't be a bully. And you switched over and said, "Oh, I like the show. I Win father. Look
to be fair, to be fair, I'm kind of a big scary guy.
That's true. That's true.
It was a lot of chaos. But I hate Win's father. I hate him.
To be fair, I think he would probably be scared of you if he ran into you. So
true that. Now, Marvin,
I will say Wim's father did get a little bit of a moment of actually getting to man up a little bit, which is basically the only thing they could have done for him in this show, because you can't have him all the way to the end being a coward the entire time, which is essentially what he is. He's trying to remind his son, who is more brave than he is, oh, you need to do your homework. Are you sure you didn't do your homework?
This was all just a learning experience for the dad character because he's used to, Star Wars as a whole these days. He was waiting for a strong, bold, and daring independent woman to show up to fix the problem for him. It never happened, so he had to man up and actually do something.
They had no way to make it. I'm just going to point out the shorthand here. They don't even have glasses in Star Wars until recently, very recently. And they had to give him the nerdiest glasses possible because they couldn't find a better way to communicate that he's a nerd.
Well, they only have lens crafters on at Adden, so it's a real problem. Marvin,
go ahead.
What? No, you had something pithy. What did you have?
No, I was just thinking of the one other character with glasses in Star Wars.
Who is the one other character with glasses? I don't know.
The Doctor from the most boring episode of The Mandalorian ever created.
Dr. Pershing.
Exactly.
Marvin,
yes.
Your thoughts on Skeleton Crew, the show that nobody watched but that we think is pretty decent, but won't save Star Wars?
I hated it. I liked the first couple episodes, and then after that, I just realized this is filled with every last bit of rot that has been infecting Star Wars since The Force Awakens. And the only reason why anyone likes it is because it's less noticeable than it was in The Acolyte. It is when in the second to last episode, when the girl boss in training, as Kevin called her, which I thought was brilliant. When the big lesson that she had to learn was you have to accept that everyone is not as awesome as you are. I was just like, oh my God, this stinks. It just stinks. It's just filled with Kathleen Kennedy rot. I could not stand the last 3 episodes of this show. I think it's garbage. I think the only thing Lucasfilm is capable of spewing out anymore is garbage. And I hate it.
When does it exist in the timeline? Is it
after
trilogy or after sequel trilogy? What is it?
Long after I stopped caring about Star Wars is when it exists.
I assume we're running concurrent to Mando.
Same time frame as Mando, yes.
Yeah,
so I will point out one thing. Those are and I was talking with Lauren about this. Those are not sequel trilogy ships that come to rescue them. They're definitely original trilogy ships that come to rescue them. So they went heavy on the nostalgia. Pro, you had the picture up there of the kid holding the lightsaber with the girl looking defiant. That actually was a pretty good moment in the show. And he looks up into the sky and he sees a bunch of X-Wings and a Corellian Corvette up in the sky. This has a lot of really good shots and really good moments in it. But outside of that, I don't know that this show is really worthwhile. It's another thing that I think they should have just made it a movie and gotten this over with.
Jonas, I think that moment you're talking about would have been more poignant had it come at a time when imagery like holding a lightsaber and X-Wings actually meant something to anybody. They have eroded this franchise to the point where even these iconic moments mean nothing anymore. Just nothing.
Marvin.
No, it's worse because when you remind people of the glory that was and you don't provide it, you're reminding them of how far things have fallen.
Marvin.
Yes, Lauren.
You're lying. You're lying. If X-Wings didn't mean anything to you, you wouldn't be upset. Those images still mean something to you. This didn't touch your particular soul because it's small and blackened and coal-like, but it's you're lying about those images not meaning anything to you. They still do.
You know what? You're right. Though they still do mean something to me. And it's almost like you have a toy that you really like, but then the kid that you really hate takes the toy and you see them playing with it and they're not playing with it the right way. Like they're taking your X-Wing fighter and using it as a teapot at their tea party. And you're just no, that's not what you're supposed to do with it.
I think it's worse than that. I've always thought that it was like the kid who comes over to your place who is the spoiled brat that gets all the toys that he wants from his parents, but you have the one toy that he doesn't have, so he wants to play with it and he deliberately breaks it. That's what it always felt like to me. But in this case, I don't think that's what happened here. I do think there was a bad episode. The 4th episode was bad. Other than that, the show's light, it's breezy, it's not important to the Star Wars continuity, but it's aimed at kids and it's fun. I don't have anything that I can really complain about other than that 4th episode. And miraculously, they got the pirate right.
Hey, Lauren, I don't know what kind of special sauce you're bringing to the panel tonight, but I'm a little weirded out by the fact that you say something and Kevin's like, oh, yeah, well, what I said before, I completely reversed that. I agree with you now, Lauren. And then you say what you say to Marvin, and Marvin immediately goes, oh, yeah, well, exactly right, Lauren. I do love those X-Wings. Everybody watch out.
It would be more obvious,
those aren't
Pro,
the droids
if you said, yes, that's exactly what I was going to say.
Hey,
By the way,
I have a question.
Yeah,
As somebody who's never seen this but has seen the pictures from it, please tell me that little elephant thing isn't the character from Captain EO.
either that or he's.
I mean,
gosh.
gosh.
Babies.
Or how about the fact that when they turned on the hologram from the actual pirate captain that they've been following this whole time, he sounded like he should be singing about pineapples under the sea. He sounded like the captain on The Simpsons. We're like, would you be needing more ice tea?
This will keep the crewmates from sodomy for at least 10 minutes.
Hey
But
guys, hang on just a second, Lauren. We're trying to run a professional ship here, and somebody has really messed up. Folks, we don't normally do this. We don't normally come in and break in like this, but we've got a correction to make, and I feel ashamed that this happened. Jonas, buddy, you screwed up.
I did.
Please, what is the correction you must issue lest we get in trouble with the United States government, perhaps the United Nations, and even beyond with the Illuminati?
I was incorrect. In live action, there was actually a pair of glasses in Star Wars in 1985. You guys may not remember the pivotal Star Wars release that happened in 1985, otherwise known as the Ewok movie. Noah Brickalon or Bequalan or whatever, they never say last names in Star Wars, so I don't know why I'm even attempting this. Played by Wilford Brimley, You
can choose to feel sorry for yourself. I hope you don't.
He wore glasses in the Ewok movie.
Because Wilford Brimley needed glasses and he probably couldn't see without them.
Well, yes, but that quote, Marvin, was directed at you.
Space diabetes needs to be taken very seriously.
Boy, I set him up and you guys hit him out of the park with the
There we go, right there.
Let me tell you, Jonas, the fact that we issued our very first correction on the channel, and it's about Wilford Brimley, it puts a smile on the face of everybody out there. It's just something is right in this world. Something is right.
You can choose to feel sorry for yourself. I hope you don't.
It's our first legal note.
He's also the face on the oatmeal packages, I'm sure. That's the
I just
same
imagine
guy, right?
Jonas had the exact expression of Sonny Hostin from The View as he's reading the correction.
Often as we get ready to wrap these up, folks, you'll hear us say, keep learning, keep growing, keep having fun. And the reason we do it is because we appreciate you. It's true, we do. And we want you to have a good time. Thank you for giving us the great time of spending time with you. Folks, on the way out the door, consider clicking that like button, share, subscribe, click it and stick it to the algorithms. It's the notification bell, and drop a comment down below because you matter. Your thoughts matter. Who cares what the legacy corporate deadbeat media tells you? You really are important. And we're a testament to that. We wouldn't be here without folks just like you. And since we've said it, we'll say it once more. Folks, wherever you are and whatever you're doing, keep learning, keep growing, and as always, keep having fun.